Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. Today I'm super excited because I am talking about the Biolite 1500 watt hour BaseCharge portable power generator. I actually was fortunate enough that they reached out to me and said, hey, can we let you borrow one? So they just sent me this to sort of test out, and then I'm sending it back to them. But I did want to check it out, and this weekend my truck is broken, so I am here car camping in Hoosier National Forest. I'm going to be spending a couple days out here, but I'm going to be charging my phone. I'm running a fridge. I've got a seat heater that I'm going to be using. I have a bunch of stuff that I'm going to be charging off this thing or running off this thing, so I'm actually super excited to see how this does. And you can hear right now my fridge is running. I actually plugged in this fridge this morning, so it is about 4:30 on Friday afternoon. I plugged this thing in at about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning, and it's been running all day, and I'm still at 88%. Did not pre-chill it, did not do anything, just plugged in the fridge and been running it all day. So excited to see how this thing goes. I'm going to show you kind of all the features of it. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about it because this thing is really cool. Like, I've used a lot of battery banks, but this thing is really unique and really interesting. So I'm going to talk you through all the features of it. I'm going to show you kind of how it works, and then I'm going to kind of come back over the next couple days while I'm out here camping, and I'm going to talk about how it's doing after a ton of usage. So I'm going to kind of give you everything. If you're looking at this power bank, I think this will be a super helpful video for you. So I encourage you to watch it through to the end. But again, let's dive into the Biolite 1500 BaseCharge unit. Alright, so this is the Biolite 1500 BaseCharge. This thing is really cool. I know I'm borrowing it, but I really kind of want to keep it. I really do. And I'm going to show you exactly why. So let's start with the basics, right? So what all does it have on here? The cool thing is that it has this sort of like Anderson plug style input. And when I use it at home, it comes with an AC charger that fits this input. It will pull 120 amps from my wall socket. So I think I charge this from about 60% to 100% in just a couple hours. So it charges up really, really fast. It is a lithium battery, so it has a ton of uses, a ton of recharges, a ton of cycles that you can run this thing through. So when you're looking for something that is going to last for a long time, this is a good option. The other cool thing about this input is that it is universal for solar panels. So if you have some sort of a solar panel with this type of Anderson plug style charger, then you could plug pretty much any solar panel into this, and it will accept on solar up to 400 watts. So you could basically daisy chain 4 separate 100 watt hour solar panels to this thing and charge it back up in about 2 hours, I think, if I remember right. So it's pretty rad. But again, because of the capacity of this thing, for me anyways, I'm literally going to run every single thing that I'm using on this trip off of this thing for 2 days, and I'm pretty sure that I'll probably still have 20 or 30% battery left. I'm going to show you the display here in a second because it's really cool and it shows you a lot of neat stuff that will help you kind of figure out how long you can run stuff. But again, before that, let's just get through the basics here. There is sort of a car style DC plug here. The thing that is really cool about this versus like a lot of the cheaper battery packs that I've used is that it's always on. So when you hit this button, basically to turn on any section, you just hit the button. So if you wanted to turn on AC, other USB, that sort of thing, you just hit the button, and then when it's on, it's on. So again, for this thing, I'm running my fridge off of it. In the past, the battery pack was trying to be too smart. All my other battery packs, you can't leave it on. It's not regulated power. So when you would turn that on, it would eventually sense that there's no draw. Like right now, the fridge is not running, and it would shut this part off. But then the fridge would heat up, and the fridge didn't have any power to tell it to turn back on. Whereas with this, I can run it on the more efficient DC versus AC. For some reason, on all those cheaper battery packs, when you run stuff off AC, it stays on. Unlike the DC, which is really weird, but that's just how they all are. All the cheap Chinese ones work off of the AC all the time, but the DC turns itself off. On this battery bank, it stays on, which is really, really cool. So you've got a DC 12 volt plug. You've got these two sort of barrel plugs here. I don't have anything that charges off of those, but I'm sure that there are things that charge off of those. I just am not going to use them personally. Then with the USB section, you've got 2 USB-A's and 2 USB-C's. You do also have this PD 100 watt. This is basically a USB-C like max charging type of thing. You can also, and this is pretty cool, I saw this in their documentation, you can charge the battery pack off this USB-C and this Anderson plug style plug down here at the same time, and you can get this whole thing charged from like 0 to 100 in like 2 hours or something like that. I'll link to that thing that I'm talking about. I'll link to their website, so if you want to check out more info on it, check that out. But it is pretty cool that you can, charge at the same time from both of those things. And then of course on AC, you've got 3 plugs down here, 3 AC plugs. So just like typical wall plugs with a built-in inverter, it will handle 2400 watt peak run. So like you could run, like a circular saw or anything that will peak up to 2400 watts. It will allow that to happen. Most electrical things that will have like a surge at the beginning, just like the fridge, and then they will go back down to a lower level at later times. So, but a lot of these power banks are not going to have the capacity or that availability through the AC inverter to be able to do that sort of peak power to run things like power tools or things like that, whereas this will. So that's really cool. Moving up here to the top, one thing that I really like is that it's totally flat with little lips on the edges. So like if you needed to set stuff or stack stuff on it, you could totally do that. I actually, when I brought this thing here, I had this whole setup sitting in my back seat of my car, charging the fridge, running the fridge, and that thing in the back. And, it worked perfect. And then when I got here, I actually put this on top of the fridge, carried the whole thing out here and set it on my little table. And again, because everything's flat, it's unlike a lot of those that have handles built into the top of them. It is actually pretty stackable and usable, which is really nice. So on the top here, you can see this little icon here, which actually means you can wirelessly charge stuff. So if you set your phone here on top of it, it will sense that there's a phone there, it will sense that it's chargeable, and it will wirelessly charge that through induction charging, which is awesome. Down here on the side, you will see the handles are recessed, which again is awesome because what that means is you don't have things sticking out on the side. So it makes it flat on the side so you can put it next to stuff, you can stack stuff next to it. And then you'll notice these sort of vents in there. That is actually cooling vents for the battery itself. So they're built into these so you can't really block them, but you still want to try and keep stuff from like totally blocking this side when it's in use. But it is kind of nice that they built that into there. I like that thought that went into that. All right, but so let's dive into this display because this thing is really super cool. Basically, what you can see here is this is your total percentage of battery that's left. Again, I've been running this thing with a fridge attached to it since 10 o'clock this morning, so probably for about 6.5, 7 hours now. And when the fridge is on, it's running 50 to 60 watts. And then, of course, when it goes into maintenance mode, it's pulling almost nothing, right? This shows you down here, it's kind of a message center, but it will tell you how many watt hours you've used. It will also give you warnings and things if your battery overheats or anything like that. That's kind of a nice little thing there. And then over here, you've got input. So like if I had this plugged in or if I had solar on this right now, it would tell me how many watts are coming in via the input. And then the same here. If I had stuff charging off this, if this fridge kicks on here in a second, oh my gosh, you can't beat the timing. I'm psychic. If that fridge kicks on like that, then you will see there, now it's showing you how many watts are being outputted. And guess what? This time, hours to empty or hours to full, adjusts real time with it. So based on this right now, if this were to run at 50 watts, it would still run for another 29, almost 30 hours until it would be empty, even if it ran nonstop and never shut off. So that's crazy. There's tons of juice in here. Now the cool thing about this too is that this thing will show you the power coming in. So let's say that we had it plugged into the wall and I was pulling 120 watts from the wall socket into it. It would show hours to full because we're inputting more power than we're actually pulling out of it. And it would charge while it's running this fridge. It would actually be putting more power back in than it's taking out, which is awesome. You've got this display button over here. You can, I think, hold this. That's what you can actually turn the battery pack on and off, or you can hit it if you want to, save a little bit of battery and turn the display off. I kind of like having it because I love seeing all this information. It's awesome. You do have some like troubleshooting stuff like this reset and stuff over here, which I haven't had any problems with it. I haven't had it freeze up or do anything weird. I haven't run a ton of AC stuff off of it yet though either. But honestly, this thing has just been pretty bulletproof in a little bit of time that I've used it. So again, thanks to Biolite for letting me test this thing out. So again, that is the Biolite 1500 watt hour BaseCharge. This thing is awesome. I pretty much love everything about it. I'm not lying. I borrowed it. They did send it to me to test, so I'm just being fully transparent with you guys. But I've been using this for a couple days now, and it just runs everything. It's amazing. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm going to continue to use this for the next couple of days, but this is the Biolite 1500 watt hour BaseCharge. This thing is amazing. I really love all of the information that it gives you on the screen. I love all the different plugs on it. I love that it has 2400 watt peak on it, so you could run a ton of stuff, more stuff than I'm ever going to use it for, right? I really just want one thing that I can take with me portably to be able to run a fridge for a long enough period of time and also be able to charge all my stuff without having to worry about killing my starter battery if I'm not in my overlanding truck. And that's what this thing does for me. So Awesome, awesome, awesome. Awesome display, awesome readout, awesome form factor. I mean, overall, I really, really like the thing, right? Now, it is a pricey piece of gear, so I'll put a link in the description down below, but if you were looking for one thing, you could spend easily $200 to $500 on a smaller battery pack that's going to be a Chinese-built, sort of knockoff type of thing, right? That's not going to have this kind of information, that's not going to have this kind of quality built into it, that doesn't have the warranty that this thing has. And if you do that 2 or 3 times, you're going to have paid for this thing, right? So again, all that I'm saying with that is, if you really, really, really don't want to do a dual battery setup on your vehicle, if you're thinking of having something that is more of like a portable power station that you could use at your house, or you could take to like a ball game if you want to run stuff for like tailgating, things like that, and you also want to take it out on camping and overlanding trips, then this would be a really great option because it's portable. You can take it in and out, keep it charged up in your house, take it out and use it. I mean, I just love it. So anyways, I hope that that was helpful for you. If it was, click that like button, click the bell to be notified when new videos drop. I do a couple of videos a week, usually like a gear review and like an overlanding / dispersed camping type video every week. Also in the description down below will be a link to this thing. So if you're looking for it, definitely go check it out. It's just, this is pre-release. They're getting ready to release this in October, so I'm super excited to see this thing hit the shelves because it's really cool. Also in the description down below will be links to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all kinds of things, right? So wherever you want to come and hang out, I know you're on YouTube right now. I realize I screwed that up. It's fine. I'm going to leave it in. We're going to not cut this video. I'm being transparent. But wherever you want to come and hang out, I'd love to have you, right? If you want to be a part of the crew, if you want to come and hang out and engage more, I'd love to have you. There's also a Patreon group down below, link in the description. We have an exclusive Discord where we all chat, and we do like a once a month like live stream thing where we all hang out together. There's also the Newbie Overlanders group, which is totally free to join. If you just want to come and learn stuff about overlanding, we'd love to have you there. But so again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.